So hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to General Nazgrim 10-man normal in the Siege of Orgrimmar raid. And for this fight you want to bring 2 tanks, 2 healers and the rest DPS. Melee being really good because there is a lot of adds on this fight and their ability to do high burst damage on demand and constant interrupts will be very helpful. And Nazgrim is a warrior, which means he has a rage bar and will switch between 3 stances. Battle stance, a balanced stance that generates 1 rage every second. Berserker stance, a wild stance that increases damage dealt and taken by 25%, plus it increases rage generation by 100%, and defensive stance, which reduces damage taken by 10%, and every time he gets hit, it will generate 3 rage. This cannot occur more than once every second. But attacks by players affected by Sundering Blow do not cause Nazgrim to generate rage, which is the tank debuff, by the way. And first of all, let's go over 2 abilities he will use regardless of his rage level throughout the entire fight. First one is called Sundering Blow. This is the tank debuff, a powerful strike that inflicts 600,000 physical damage and sunders the enemy armor, reducing armor by 10% for 30 seconds. It will generate 5 rage plus 5 additional rage per stack of Sundering Blow on the target. Bone Cracker. Fling a heavy mace at a player to crack their bones, reducing maximum health by 10% and causing the player to bleed for 40,000 physical damage every second for 30 seconds. And as I've said at the beginning, this boss has a rage bar. How this works: approximately every 15 seconds he will use an ability that costs rage. He will always choose the most expensive ability if he has that amount of rage. So for instance, if he has 100 rage, he will use an ability that costs 100 rage instead of an ability that costs 30 rage. After using an ability that costs rage, he will get debuff called Cooling Off. If he has this debuff, it lasts 15 seconds and he can't use any other ability that costs rage. And that's basically the gimmick of this fight. How much rage will he accumulate in these 15 seconds? So the first rage ability is called Heroic Shockwave. This one costs 30 rage and it will basically leap at a random player's location, inflicting 300,000 physical damage within 10 yards, and it will create 3 aftershocks. Aftershocks are basically 3 cracks on the ground. They will erupt after a couple of seconds, inflicting 400,000 fire damage to everyone standing on them, and every player hit by those will generate Nazgrim 3 rage. Korkron Banner. This one costs 50 rage. He will throw down a banner and that will cause all the adds that are present in the fight to give him 3 rage for every single attack they land, so you need to destroy that ASAP. Warsong. He will unleash a hellish scream, inflicting 50% of maximum health as physical damage to all players. This one costs 70 rage. And the last one, Ravager. This one costs 100 rage and surprisingly isn't a wipe mechanic. He will throw a whirling blade that will last for the entire duration of the fight. This will inflict around 400,000 physical damage to everyone it hits. It has a 6-yard radius and it does damage every second. And every time it hits someone, it will generate Nazgrim 5 rage. Now, if you have 1 of those, it's really easy to avoid. If you have 2 of those, you done goofed. And it's gonna be really hard to avoid this because it's just zooming around the room. It doesn't care what you think. You can't kill it and it will just stay there. So try and not get 1 of those. But if you get 1 of those, it's perfectly fine. Now let's go over the Korkron forces that will aid Nazgrim throughout the entire fight. Korkron Ironblade. This is just a grunt that will bro-storm all the time. He won't do anything else, he will just bro-storm. So 1 tank needs to take him and tank him at the side of the room so he's not hitting anyone. Korkron Arcweaver. This is a caster. He will cast spells. That's all he will do basically, and with every cast he will increase his damage. So this is kind of a priority guy, but not really. The only annoying thing about this guy is he will blink around the room all the bloody time. Korkron Assassin. And when this guy spawns, he will be in stealth, so you can't see him, but it's fairly easy to reveal him, so just use things like Halo or AoE. I was using mushrooms as a boomkin, and all he will do is he will fixate on a random person, he will put a mark on their head, and if you turn your back to him, he will backstab you over and over again, and that does shit ton of damage, so you're probably gonna die. So just face him, okay? Let the other people kill him, you can also stun him and all the good stuff. Next, this is the highest priority ad, and this is the Korkron War Shaman. And this guy will throw earth shields on his comrades, and this will protect the target with an earthen shield, and he will heal them for 5% of their maximum health when they take damage. So you either need to purge this, but if you have a mage, tell him to spell steal it, it's really good. Next, you will cast an empowered chain heal. This will heal an ally for 10% of his maximum health and will jump to nearby allies. It will increase its healing by 50% per jump, and it can affect up to 5 total targets. You need to interrupt this, okay? He will not target Nazgrim all the time. So what can happen? It can just target another mob that is low on health, it will heal him for 10%, then it will jump to Nazgrim and heal him for 15%. So that's insane. You really need to interrupt this one. And the last thing he will do is he will throw around a healing tide totem. This will summon a totem, and every 3 seconds, everything within 8 yards of this totem is gonna be healed for 30% of their maximum health. That's a lot, but you can destroy this totem, and the best way to deal with this is actually the tank that's not currently tanking the boss just taunts the shaman, takes him to the corner of the room, you will let him place down his bloody totem, then you can take him away, and your DPS need to focus that totem really hard. You can't afford to let Nazgrim be healed by that totem. That's 30% health, that's millions of health, right? So be really careful and focus this one. This is the most important thing. And now that we finally know what the hell is going on the screen, let's go over the tactics. And Nazgrim is not that difficult. It's one of the easier fights. I think we killed it on our 3rd or 4th pull. This is not our kill attempt. For some reason I can't find the footage from the kill attempt. Same thing was with the Iron Juggernaut and Galakras. I either didn't record it, or I might have ran out of space, which is also a possibility, but I just don't have the kill footage. So this is I think the second to last pull we did. After this we actually killed it. Here we Bloodlust on pull. Don't do this. This is what actually killed us. We need to Bloodlust at the end of the fight. I'm going to talk about that a bit later. Now, the abilities that cost Rage are not that threatening, actually. They don't do an awful lot on their own. If you have too many of the whirling blades in the room, that might wipe you because you will just run out of space and people will get comboed down because they do so much damage. But they're not that threatening. What I want to talk about is the ad priority. Now, the shamans always take priority over everything because when unintended, they will heal Nazgrim to full within a minute, maybe less, like 30 seconds they can heal Nazgrim to full. So you need to kill the shamans, focus down the totems as well. Blowing to the microphone, not good. Next are the assassins. If they backstab you and something like Warcry comes in, you're dead. That's just too much damage, so the assassins are priority number 2. The Arcweavers, eventually their damage, because it's kind of spiky, can get too high because of the buff they're getting with each cast. So these are priority number 3. And the idiots that just browstorm around the room are almost... You can almost ignore them. Towards the end of the fight, you can probably ignore them and get away with it. Okay? So that's the priority. Shamans, Assassins, Arcweavers, and then the idiots that just browstorm. Next thing is the banner. You need to destroy the banner as fast as possible, because every single attack from these ads will generate him rage, which is always bad. He will cast more powerful abilities, and there's a higher chance he will reach 100 rage, and you will have another whirling blade in the room, which is really bad. So just focus down the banner. It doesn't have an awful lot of health, so it's not that hard to destroy. Next, I'm going to talk about the defensive stance. When he's in defensive stance, no one should attack him. You should just stand around. Even if you're a tank and you just taunt it, don't attack him until you get at least 1 stack of the tank debuff, because you're going to be giving him so much rage. Okay? So when the defensive stance comes, just focus on the ads and then just slash dance or slash flex, you know? Just don't attack him when he's in defensive stance. Next, I want to talk about the most important thing on this fight, and this is how you're going to wipe if you do it incorrectly. Okay? This is what's going to wipe you. When he reaches 10% health, he will go into sort of a soft enrage, and he will start summoning these ads much faster, which means like within a minute you're gonna have 5 of these shamans healing everything up. So this is the point where you want to Bloodlust. Here's the problem though, he can be at any stance at this point. So if you get him to 10% of his health in defensive stance, you basically just screwed yourself really hard. How we did it is we just waited around until he was about to switch into Berserker stance, then we attacked him, took him down to 10%, Bloodlusted and killed him. A very helpful thing in this phase is crowd control. So sheep, hunter traps and all this good stuff, that's what you need to do. Once he reaches 10% of his health, you don't have the time to deal with these shamans because they're gonna spawn so fast, they're just gonna overwhelm you if you focus on the ads. you can't possibly do that. If you have 5 of the shamans, they're just gonna throw totems all over the place, and you can't possibly interrupt all of them. So how we dealt with it, we used all our CC on the shamans, we healed as much as possible to, you know, cope with the assassin damage and with the Brostar damage, and just nuke the boss as hard as we can, or hard as we could, and we killed it. So that's the way to do it. Just CC the shamans and nuke the boss. This is the point where you either kill the boss or you get overwhelmed and you're dead. And that's this boss. As I've said, it's not too difficult. It's all about ad management. I wish you good luck. It's kind of fun boss. It's nothing too spectacular, but it's not bad either. So I wish you good luck. I thank you a lot for watching, and I will see you in another guide.